Hello, Heather. This will be some, well, midterm feedback for you, and I will attach this video to the discussion board, the peer review. Nice to meet you in cyberspace. Heather, I'm going to open up your attachments in the discussion board, and I see that you did some sketching, so kudos to you for doing that. I think, right off the bat, I like the one that's slightly more asymmetrical. Consider bleeding some of these off the edge, like you have the rose. But really nice job. Nice combination of elements. And so let me go ahead and just address this one then. This is going to be it's hypothetical, but it's going to be an ad in a magazine. So be very careful about your margins. This is a little tight. Magazines get trimmed. And so it's good not to run type or imagery too close to the edge. Now, having said that, I really like the way that you've bled these roses off. Not sure you need both of them, though. You've done an effective job of changing the color cast, but I think, just one would be enough. And the gradations using the corporate palette are really nice. Be careful not to squash anything. It's okay if you run the logo, I think, on a side like this. Take a look at some books. Book spine, the back of books, copy in this country usually runs the other way. And if it's a European publication, if it runs this way. So take your choice. But at least for book spines, that's the convention. I'm glad that you started to think about some of your ad copy. And I see that's the difference here. Simplify. I would say simplify, find a few common axes. In this arrangement, they may be diagonal. And maybe, place your type along that implied line. So think about grids, a simple grid. Think about the rule of thirds. It's a way to organize a two-dimensional surface using sort of intersecting grid lines. It's a very simple one, though. And even though it was developed for photography and videography, it's equally applicable to graphic design. What else can I say? I'll take a look at your Illustrator file to see if you've embedded images or not. But really exceptional job, and I look forward to seeing how you refine them. Good job of sketching. Heather, you ask, well, you discuss your difficulties with Illustrator, and let me just say, before I forget to say it, that your masking should be done in Photoshop. Yes, there are clipping masks, which you can use in Illustrator, but, it's kind of a difficult concept to understand. The thing is also, and it's chapter 4, by the way, in the textbook, it is 7. It's using quick mask for masking selections. But it's Photoshop. Okay, and then but you can take a look at clipping masks also. Clipping masks can do the same thing, but a clipping mask is more like a regularly shaped box or window in which you place a image or a photograph, and you can slide the image around, to select various portions of it within the clipping mask. And it is an example of using non-destructive image editing, but it's not the same thing as masking in Photoshop, which is the technique which I think you mastered because you did the mask or the silhouette in week 2 correctly. At any rate, so to answer your question, here is your file, and I see that here you have some clipping. It's Illustrator. Here you have some clipping masks, presumably for these images. And have you silhouetted these images? Are these from week 2? Let's see if I can slide this around. Oh, I see. Okay, so see, that's what I'm saying. Instead of a box, this is what you've done is you put the image in a circle. But it is, I don't think you need that really. It doesn't need to be. It could just be a box. So if it's a circle that's confusing you, and it doesn't seem to be, it works quite well as it is, so never mind. You've got the requisite, the logo on a layer, presumably. How are you doing these? The same way. Yeah, I don't see how else you could do these. What's nice is that you had some of them. Oops, that's distorting the image. But on one sketch, you had some of them various size and irregularly shaped. I like that, and you had some of them bleeding off the edge. So I would go with that variation. And this is actually, I think, an earlier form. Hopefully, it looks like you answered your question, really, from last week. Good going. I'm going to cut it short here. I know I've probably forgotten to address something. But take a look at Chapter 4 in the textbook, which begins on page 197.